I know what's gone on previously in my previous prison sentences. I wrote a letter to my wife, and it was a detailing letter. Yeah.
You all right? It's all right. This is a letter to your wife from prison. What did you say?
To make sure they understood why I do what I do. And it's me believing that the worst will come.
That you will die in jail.
The worst will come, and I want my children to know that that I haven't,
Danny Dyer has never been one to hold back. He speaks his mind, no matter the fallout, and right now, he's fuming. To him, Tommy Robinson's arrest isn't just another headline, it's a wake-up call. It's about power, control, and the growing fear of speaking freely. Let's be honest, how many public figures are willing to say what he's saying?
By a communist, tyrannical government who do not care about freedom. Everything this country was built on. In the Magna Carta, it's been abolished and trampled all over by Kier Starmer. Okay? The two-tier policing, the judiciary. The world is watching right now. This is the most important moment in any of our battles. I've been doing this for 15 years. It's led us here. The path has led us here to the 26th of October. Beyond the 26th of October, I'll be in jail by the 28th, 29th. Yeah? Maybe I'll be in jail before, but my film will be ready. Okay? The demonstration will be planned. Music will be planned. Security will be planned. A spectacle will already be planned and put in place. So whatever thoughts they have, it's going ahead. I will be there, right? Through hook or by crook, I'll be there. Now,
while most celebrities stay quiet to avoid controversy, Danny Dyer isn't playing it safe. He's openly questioning why Tommy Robinson was jailed and why the powers that be seem so determined to silence him. He's not sugarcoating it. He's calling it out for what it is. To him, this isn't just about one arrest. It's about something far bigger and more alarming. And he's making sure people don't just look the other way.
It's Tommy Robinson, real name Stephen Yaxley Lennon, has been charged under the Terrorism Act.
He hugged supporters waiting outside for him, telling them he was there for telling the truth. Now, one of them asked what'll happen next, and he said, "I'll see what happens, mate. I don't expect to come back out here."
Rare to see someone from mainstream entertainment take a stand like this. But Dyer isn't just another actor throwing out opinions. He sees something wrong and refuses to ignore it. He knows the backlash is inevitable and the media will twist his words. But does that faze him? Not at all. To him, staying quiet is just another form of complicity.
I walk away to enter 2025, but I'm entering my third month of solitary confinement within Woodhill Prison. After 42 days, they had to go to the government after 42 days of isolation. So whose decision is it? Because I know people get frustrated with the prison. It's not the prison. All decisions to do with me and nothing to do with the jail. They're coming from the government. That was I had to give a written response to my opinion on my isolation. After 42 days, it was going to the government for them to continue doing it. So I wrote my written response, which said this doesn't have to happen. When I come in here, I sat down with a psychiatrist and I said to her, "What's 9 months of solitary confinement going to do to me?" She said it's going to be devastating for your mental health. So I said, "So why are they doing it?" And 2 weeks ago, this week, I sat down. Every 2 weeks, I have a meeting with the governors, and the mental health team are there. Psychiatrists are there, mental health, probation, independent monitoring board. They're all there every 2 weeks because I have to have it because I'm on solitary confinement. And this week, I said, "I'm going to say this because I feel different. I'm telling you, I know how I feel. I feel different. I know I'm only 2 months in. So why am I still being held in solitary confinement?"
Locked away for 23 hours a day, no human contact, no fresh air, no sense of time. That's the reality Tommy Robinson is enduring. This isn't just a standard prison sentence, it's something far harsher. Solitary confinement isn't just about punishment, it's designed to break a person, to strip them of their will, to make them feel invisible. And right now, that's exactly what's happening to him.
Those that are spreading lies and misinformation as far and as wide as possible, they're not interested in victims. They're interested in themselves. Those who are cheerleading Tommy Robinson, not interested in justice. They're supporting a man who went to prison for nearly collapsing a grooming case, a gang grooming case. These are people who are trying to get some kind of vicarious thrill from street violence that people like Tommy Robinson promote. And those attacking Jess Phillips, who I'm proud to call a colleague and a friend, not protecting victims. Jess Phillips has done 1,000 times more than they've even dreamt about when it comes to protecting victims of sexual abuse throughout her entire career. And so just as I took on the criminal justice system and the institutions when I was chief prosecutor, I'm prepared to call out this for what it is. We've seen this playbook many times, whipping up of intimidation and threats of violence.
For most prisoners, even those convicted of serious crimes, this level of isolation is rare. But for Tommy Robinson, it's daily life. No phone calls, no visits from his ex-wife, just the same four walls closing in hour after hour. This kind of treatment is usually reserved for the most dangerous criminals. Yet here it is, used on a man whose crime was speaking out, and he knows exactly why. He's said it before. This isn't just about locking him up, it's about making him disappear. Robinson isn't just another inmate, he's a symbol of defiance. A reminder that some people refuse to stay silent, no matter the consequences. And to those in power, that makes him a problem they want to erase.
But when the poison of the far right leads to serious threats to Jess Phillips and others, then in my book, a line has been crossed. I enjoy the cut and thrust of politics, the robust debate that we must have, but that's got to be based on facts and truth, not on lies, not on those who are so desperate for attention that they're prepared to debase themselves and their country. So this government will get on with the job of protecting victims, including child sexual abuse, mandatory reporting, accelerating the processes. But what I won't tolerate is this discussion and debate based on lies without calling it out.
So the real question is why? If he's just a fringe figure stirring controversy, why go to such extremes? Why isolate him? Why treat him like a national security threat? The answer is clear. They're afraid. Afraid of what he knows, afraid of what he says, afraid of what he stands for, and they're willing to do whatever it takes to shut him down.
Or the Times newspaper, sharing their article, look what we wrote in 2019 about Islamic prison gangs. Now, Gerard Batten made me his advisor on prison because I had spoke very vocally since 2013 when I come out of Wood Hill Prison, a maximum security jail which houses some of the worst terrorists in our country, and I saw how they controlled the entire prison. He was battered down for having me as an advisor. Someone who had been to 10 UK jails, okay, had seen firsthand, had spoke to staff in every one of these prisons to understand the recruitment, how they recruit, how they act, all of these things. Beaten down. I made a video in 2017 showing that Islamic terrorists and jihadists are being housed next to British primary schools.
Even the most dangerous criminals are granted phone calls. They get to see their families, hear familiar voices, and maintain some connection to the outside world. But for Tommy Robinson, nothing. No contact, no updates, just silence. And that's no accident. It's the plan. They don't want him reaching anyone. They don't want him exposing what's happening behind those prison walls. They want him erased, and they're making sure he disappears, one day at a time.
In that video, I made a point of saying, you can have him under surveillance. If he wants to get a knife and kill kids, he can. This latest terrorist was under surveillance. They were following him with guns. He still got to stab 2 people. Why has he been released? Why? Why has he been released? Do you know there's 800 other live investigations now? I saw Piers Morgan talking about how much does it cost. Well, hello, mate. We've been banging our heads against a wall about that. For the last decade, 32 people to monitor one jihadi. We've got 3,000 being monitored every day. That's a cost of £9 billion a year.
This isn't just about punishment. It's about control. If he can't communicate, he can't fight back. He can't share his side of the story. He can't reveal what's happening behind closed doors. And, with each passing day, they're counting on the world losing interest, hoping people stop asking questions. But here's the problem. They're failing. Instead of fading into the background, these extreme measures are only fueling more outrage. The harder they try to silence him, the louder the calls for his release become. And the longer this drags on, the bigger the question grows. What are they so desperate to hide?
What way to enter 2025, but I'm entering my third month of solitary confinement within Wood Hill Prison. After 42 days, they had to go to the government after 42 days of isolation. So whose decision is it? Because I know people get frustrated with the prison. It's not the prison. All decisions to do with me and nothing to do with the jail. They're coming from the government. That was me. I had to give a written response to my opinion on my isolation. After 42 days, it was going to the government for them to continue doing it. So I wrote my written response, which said this doesn't have to happen. When I come in here, I sat down with a psychiatrist and I said to her, what's 9 months of solitary confinement going to do to me? She said it's going to be devastating for your mental health. So I said, so why are they doing it? And 2 weeks ago, this week, I sat down. Every 2 weeks I have a meeting with the governors and the mental health team are there. Psychiatrists are there, mental health, probation, independent monitoring board. They're all there every 2 weeks because I have to have it because I'm on solitary confinement. And this week I said, I'm going to say this because I feel different. I'm telling you, I know how I feel. I feel different. I know I'm only 2 months in. So why am I still being held in solitary confinement?
Tommy Robinson isn't just another inmate. His imprisonment feels like a warning. And at the centre of it all, Kier Starmer. The accusations are piling up, with many convinced that Starmer is making sure Robinson stays behind bars, silenced and kept out of sight. Why? Because Robinson has never backed down from exposing uncomfortable truths. Truths the government would rather keep buried. He's called out corruption, challenged the establishment and built a following too large to ignore. That kind of influence is dangerous to those in power. And right now, no one holds more power than the Prime Minister himself.
Who are thinking about the 26th of October. Maybe you're worried, maybe you're scared. Maybe you think you might lose your job, maybe you think you might get put in prison. We will organise this properly like we did the last ones. You've seen what happens at our events. You've seen the celebration. Let's send a message to the world, to Kier Starmer especially, that the fight is not gone, okay? Not in us anyway. I am travelling back to the UK for literally the fight of my life. I'm fully aware of that. They may throw me to the dogs in prison. I will have to fight for my survival. So men right now are fighting for their lives in prison, who have been falsely imprisoned, unlawfully imprisoned, pressured and forced and blackmailed to plead guilty to crimes they haven't committed.
Starmer isn't just a passive observer. Many believe he's the one pulling the strings, ensuring Robinson faces the harshest possible treatment. Solitary confinement, no phone calls, no visits, every method designed to silence him completely. And people are starting to take notice. This is no longer just about Tommy Robinson. It's about what happens when someone dares to challenge those in power. Is this really about justice? Or is it about control?
£9 billion, all gone about the NHS and money. Get rid of these jihadis. Get them off our street. Why are we waiting for them to kill and murder us continually? There's 800 live terror investigations now. 16 Islamic terrorist attacks have been stopped since 2017. 3 successful Islamic terrorist attacks since November. Yet do you know what they've done? You have censored and got rid of all the people that talk about it. Our biggest concern has been about all the hate. You've just deleted Katie Hopkins for what? For a few truthful tweets about Stormzy, who's a homophobic bigot anyway, who actually promotes real racism against white people. And you've deleted us.
Starmer's silence says it all. If Tommy Robinson were just another irrelevant figure, why go to such extreme lengths to keep him locked away? The harsher the punishment, the clearer the motive. It's not about justice, it's about fear. Fear of what he knows, fear of what he might expose. But if the goal was to silence him, it's backfiring. Locking him up hasn't erased his voice, it's only made it louder. Beyond those prison walls, millions still stand with him. They're not giving up, they're demanding answers. They're demanding his release.
The far-right activist Tommy Robinson has been jailed for 18 months for contempt of court after admitting to repeating false allegations about a Syrian refugee. Robinson, whose real name is Stephen Yaxley Lennon, continued to repeat the claims even after he was successfully sued for libel in 2021, including in a film which has been viewed millions of times. Handing down the sentence, the judge said Robinson's actions suggested he regards himself as above the law.
This isn't some fringe movement. It's a rising tide of support that cuts across backgrounds and beliefs. People are watching, and they're furious. They see a man being isolated, stripped of his rights, and treated like a high-risk criminal, all for speaking out. And the more they see, the angrier they become. Starmer knows this. He knows Robinson's influence hasn't weakened in confinement. If anything, it's only grown. And that's a serious problem for the government, because when millions of people feel unheard, when they believe their voices no longer matter, their frustration doesn't disappear, it intensifies. The real question is, how long can they keep the lid on this? How long can they pretend this isn't a political firestorm waiting to explode? Because the more they try to silence Tommy Robinson, the louder his supporters become. At some point, they won't be ignored. Kier Starmer might believe this will all blow over, that people will move on, forget and accept Robinson's imprisonment as just another political move. But that's not happening. The anger is real and it's not fading. For many, Robinson's case has become bigger than him. It's about a government that punishes those who dare to challenge the status quo. It's about a justice system being used as a tool to silence opposition, and the man seen as orchestrating it all, Starmer. This outrage isn't just playing out on social media. It's spreading into real conversations, fueling protests and deepening public distrust in the government. People feel betrayed. They see a prime minister who won't even acknowledge what's happening, who seems indifferent to the fact that a man is being cut off, isolated and silenced. And that, more than anything, is what's turning frustration into fury.
Don Keith here at Downing Street. I want you all to just take notice of the people who have shown up for Tommy Robinson today. Locked in solitary confinement, a political prisoner, a man the government does not want you to hear from. They're trying to keep him silent as much as possible. But it doesn't matter that Tommy's locked up, because his message continues on. And even more so now, because the tyranny of the British government can be seen through what they're doing to Tommy Robinson. Psychological torture. He's not eating well, unable to see certain visitors if they have social media platforms. Visitors are selected by the prison who he can and cannot see. All forms of psychological torture that they're putting Tommy Robinson through today. But I want you to look at the people who turned out to see Tommy Robinson today.
And for those who once had faith in Starmer, that faith has crumbled. His time as Prime Minister is coming apart at the seams. Approval ratings are plummeting. People aren't just frustrated, they're done. The country is in chaos. Soaring costs, rising crime, a system barely holding together. Yet, instead of tackling these crises, Starmer seems obsessed with keeping Tommy Robinson behind bars. But why? Why is the Prime Minister so determined to silence just one man?
So it doesn't matter. The British people are always going to thrive. They're always going to win out. And the more tyranny you put against them, the more backlash you're going to feel as the government. God bless Tommy Robinson. Free Tommy Robinson today.
The calls for Tommy Robinson's release aren't fading. They're getting louder. More people are waking up to what's happening and demanding justice. This isn't just about Robinson anymore. It's about a government that shuts down dissent and a leader who dodges accountability. Starmer can ignore the protests, petitions and growing outrage for now, but that won't last forever. His grip on power is slipping, and this could be the moment that defines his leadership. Because when a leader focuses more on silencing critics than solving real problems, people take notice, and when they've had enough, they make sure their voices are heard. If you found this breakdown insightful, don't forget to like and subscribe for more updates on this developing story.